the jungle, eat or be eaten. These film cans tell what happened to the Americans who journeyed into the Amazon to shoot a documentary.
Hello, everyone. This is Bruce Herzog, and my very special guest is a guy that I've been trying to get a hold of for a year. And I am quite honored that he contacted me the other day. But it is Gabriel Yorke. He played Alan Yates in the ever unforgettable movie Cannibal Holocaust in 1980. Carl, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's nice to talk to you. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem at all. I'm very honored and thankful for having this conversation with you. As me being a 56-year-old soon, Cannibal Holocaust was released in 80. I'm assuming it was filmed in, 79 probably? Something like that?
That's right. Yep.
And I saw it for the first time because it's been banned everywhere, obviously. I think I saw it like in 2008, 7 or somewhere around that area, whenever it became available to watch, And after I watched that, after I watched
And they booked me because I had the right size shoes, because they'd already bought the costumes for the other guy. So so Friday they called, and Monday I flew to Bogota, and Wednesday I flew from Bogota to Leticia, which is the little town on the Amazon where we did this. And I don't think I knew the name of the movie when I took off from New York. I certainly didn't know anything about it because nobody had a script in New York. And then I never had my own copy of the script. So I got to read the script once the night I got there, after they'd already put me in a shot. I read it. Unfortunately, I kind of made a mistake and read it over dinner. That was probably not the best choice. But no, So I guess the context I'm trying to set is that my mental scope about what this movie actually was so small. It was that, these people out in the jungle who were Italian, and I couldn't really talk to most of them because they didn't speak English, and I didn't. I was a reader. I read novels and screenplays for movie companies and publishers in New York.
Oh, nice.
And one of the companies I was working for at the time was United Artists, who I didn't know this, but they had a contract to distribute Cannibal Holocaust in America. So I'm walking down the hallway in United Artists. This is a month, maybe it had to be more than a month later. This was probably 6 months later. And I'm walking down the hall and I hear somebody yelling, "Holy fuck, oh fuck," like that. And I'm like, oh shit, something's happened. So I go down, I stick my head in, and the guy I didn't know, he was a VP of something. And he's like, "Oh, you've got to come and look at this. I can't fucking believe this." And I go over to his desk, and there were the production shots from Cannibal Holocaust. And he goes, "Can you fucking believe this?" And I go, "Holy fuck." And he goes, "Yeah, right?" I go, yeah, no, that's me. And he goes, "No." And I go, "Yeah." And he looks at me and he goes, "Yeah." And we both go, "Fuck," like that. So he promised to get me some, still some production shots of it. But by the time, that never happened because, it was seized by the censors in Italy and then in the other countries. And as soon as it was seized, United Artists backed out of the distribution deal. So that was the first hint I had that it was actually a movie. I mean, I didn't even think it was actually a movie. Although I knew when I was on the plane from Bogota to the Amazon River, I had this thought. I thought, this is going to make a good story on The Tonight Show, on Johnny Carson. And I never got there, but it still would make a good story.
Yeah. John has one more question for you.
Another question for Carl. I'd like to know, what do you think about the film still being banned in certain countries? It was only available in the UK from, I think, 2000 or 2001.
So it did play in Italy, and it played in New York, actually, for a week. I know that because I know somebody who saw it there. He was 15 when he saw it in the theater in New York, he later put me in a movie called Idle Hands.
In '99.
Yeah. So I made it all the way to the cutting room floor, but he was a fan. So, and he was a friend. So he's directed a bunch of other stuff since, mostly TV, I think. But he told me he saw it in New York when he was 15. I still hadn't seen it until he sent me a copy in '99 or 2000. He sent me a copy on a video dub from so it was a VHS copy from the Netherlands, from Holland, the Netherlands. And my sister saw it in Tokyo. So you could see it in Amsterdam and you could see it in Tokyo. And in Tokyo, they love that. This is their kind of movie, especially, they love it when you're killing animals on film.
Oh, God.
So, but my sister, she couldn't watch the whole thing because she didn't want to see me die. I kept telling her it's a movie,
Yeah, it's a movie.
But after you see the animals getting killed, then you're not sure if they're killing. If you have any fans down there, they can come and see me there. But it's still, for a movie that's 40 years old, is it 40, 45 years old? People are still talking about it.
It's 44 years old, yeah. But I might make a trip up there to see you. I haven't been in a festival in a long while, but I'm not too far from Pennsylvania,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you answered one of John's questions about the a lot. Now, was people getting arrested other than Diodato and?
Not while we were shooting, certainly.
Back east, yeah.
Yeah, but in Italy, I think the producers may have been arrested, and
That's crazy.
Ruggiero. Yeah.
I mean, he made a name for himself just by doing that and making it seem like it's real. I mean,
yeah.
It's crazy. Now,
but he also had, he wasn't like it wasn't a student film. Let me put it that way. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Oh, yeah.
He has quite a corpus of other cannibal movies and other kinds of movies. And in fact, he did not really want to be remembered as, he knew he was going to be remembered as the Cannibal Holocaust guy. But he felt that he should be remembered for his body of work. None of which I know. I only know this one. So
there's one in 7
planes a week in and out of there. So there was the town, and I'm sure that some of those locals like lived in the town, but some of them didn't. And I'm not sure what they knew in terms of movies and photography and that kind of stuff. And here's why I say that. After we did and I've told this story many times, I don't mind telling you. After we did the sex scene in the hut, there's no walls, and in the background there's a bunch of natives in the river, in the water, and they're watching. So that's the shot, and I'm having sex with Francesca. Faye was her name. Okay, so we did 5 takes, and then it was lunchtime, and I get in line for lunch. We got the as is depicted in the movie, there's on the set there was something of a clash of cultures. I don't want to call it a clash so much as an obvious difference, an obvious difference in the cultures and what everything meant, what it means to us as Western, powerful, rich, I'm trying not to use the words like civilized or sophisticated, because we don't. Alan Yates doesn't show up that way. But
No shit.
The imperialistic version of a human, which I represented, as opposed to this much simpler version of a human life. There were many, many different and if they were pissed. Here's what I do know. Ruggiero sent me, he kept talking to me. He was always talking to me about a sequel, and because I had, this experience as a script reader, and I actually became a story structure expert, and I actually worked in Hollywood for many years for producers and agents, and as a sort of script doctor and a fixer. And so I'm really good at fixing your story. I'm not very good at writing my own, but that's kind of standard. But and I also taught story structure and screenwriting at Stanford for 5 years, so I know that part of it. Anyway, Ruggiero was always after me for he kept sending me treatments and ideas for a sequel that he could never get financed. And the last one he sent me, which I still have, has us as the crew the cast and crew of the film going back to Letitia, I don't know, 10 or 20 years later, as sort of some stupid reunion contrivance. And the natives who were part of the movie originally, who were pissed, chase us down and kill us.
Whatever, make sure you guys are all safe walking through the jungle.
There were a lot of people there that I didn't know what they did. They had a doctor on the set.
I would imagine.
And they had somebody who had to wrangle the wildlife because they were using, monkeys and snakes and turtles, and so they had that. But to tell you the truth, I didn't see there wasn't that as much as you would imagine. Mostly because we weren't tramping through the jungle. We were right. We drive up the river. We would drive up a tributary. Somewhere off of the tributary would be the set, which would have been, worked on before I ever got there. So probably scared off all the wildlife. Although I will say, the day after they did Jack, and they had him buried up to his neck, and then they built out a body, right? The idea was he's being cooked alive, right? So they buried him so that he could be going, while, his ribs are cooking. And they got ribs and they wrapped them with bacon, I think, and like that. And then they burned that and then shot the scene. So the next day we went back to the same set, and I went over to look at what they had built, and oh my, there were like a couple of thousand maggots.
Wow. So then when you came home, now when did, I mean, I know it was restricted, banned or whatever, but then when it was able for the Americans to see on a regular basis, when did you realize that the Cannibal Holocaust was like a cult icon movie?
Oh, that was 2005. Because I saw that I saw that VHS that my friend sent me, and I got to the turtle scene. This isn't my genre at all, not even close. I scare easy, you know. So I got to the turtle scene. I was sorry I saw it. My wife was like, I don't want to see any more of this. I was pretty fascinated in the early parts of it by how skinny I was, you know, and that I was smirking. I smirking all the way through. But also the version I had was a European. You know, they compress the sound different in Europe. They have PAL instead of NTSC, and that speeds it up. So we sounded like Chip and Dale. We're going out in the jungle and we're going to find some cannibals, like that. So that was weird. And then there's this younger me that looks like a son I never knew I had, and because this is now 25 years after we shot this movie. 20. But 5 years later, Grindhouse found me, and they did the first real, I don't want to say the first professionally done release of this movie. Bob Murawski, who did the editing on it, Sage Stallone. If you've seen my interview on the Grindhouse 2005 25th anniversary CD, DVD, Sage does the interview, and then Bob did the editing. He edited, and he's Sam Raimi's editor. Bob and his wife got Oscars for Hurt Locker. They're real pros. So I didn't even know that when they came up there, but they found me. They said, we want to do an interview with you, put it on the thing. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And I thought now, oh, that's a student project. See, I didn't understand who they were, and I'd been out of the business for a while. And then Sage says, and now we're going to send you to these conventions where you can meet your fans. And I'm like, what fans? How? I was aghast. I had no idea that anybody had ever seen this movie. I had no idea. And so he took me to New York, and we did, I think it was a chiller, was my first one, something like that. And holy crap, people were coming up and wanting to meet me.
Wow.
I was stunned. And I sat there with, what's his name, Robert Kerman, who they wanted to meet him because he was in all those porn movies, Debbie Does Dallas and Inside Seika, and people were bringing up copies of that, having him sign that. So that's when I knew that I watched myself in some things I did, like the Paper Chase. I did 2 seasons on a TV show called The Paper Chase in the early 80s. And, I watched some of that and I'm like, oh boy, I can't watch. But I watched that interview and I'm fascinated. I think I can't wait to hear what I'm going to say next. It's really fun. So,
Yeah, I know that feeling too.
yeah.
There's some things that people love, but you don't like it,
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, one thing I can say about Cannibal Holocaust is you're attached to it, and you're gonna die being attached to it. You're gonna be an icon hero to people who love that film. So
yeah, which is very ironic. It's very ironic to me. But it's like when I heard from Ruggiero, it's like, I don't want to be remembered as that. I'm like, that's the only thing I'm going to be remembered as. Well, you know what it's like to be an actor. You know, there's a billion actors who work and who work some more, and nobody ever knows their name, and sometimes they don't even know their face. So it's easy to not be known as an actor. So to be remembered as anything is, I'll get an A+. I'm not, but I'm also not here to take away anybody else's little fantasy about any of it.
Right.
People who love this movie, and they like meeting me. So, but I'm also the kind of guy that if I'm at a show and you come up to my table and you start asking me questions, I'll probably say something like, before I answer any of your questions, I have to ask you something. What the fuck is wrong with you? Have you seen this movie? Look at these pictures. This picture is disgusting. And then you must be really sick. And then they're all like, yeah, we're really sick. And I just get such a bang out of that because watching movies like this doesn't make you sick. It makes you a fan of these movies. That's it. There's a
15.
I'll bet. Yeah.
But he was like, wow. And he liked it. I mean,
so I'm going to say that, I'm going to say that 15 is, it's not the average age, I don't think, but it's a common age for people to see this movie for the first time. Because that's what, I mean, I'll answer the same questions over and over and over, but I'm fascinated also by, all you guys. Who are you? When did you first see it? That's what I ask people. So some of them were like 12 or 11 because they were latchkey kids and they stole it from the video store, or their brother had it in the basement or something like that.
Wow.
11. And I know that's yeah.
Oh, that leaves scars.
I hope so. I hope so. Otherwise, are you even human?
They're all grabbing.
Yeah,
and then there's people. Crotches.
And I contend that it's a perfect first date movie. It's like you find a girl, you tell her, let's go to the movies. I have a movie I want you to see, and then depending on her reaction to the movie, if you're with the right girl.
Yeah, right. Or she can use the cut off penis thing to her advantage down the road.
Yeah. Lorena Bobbitt. That was the.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
No, that's about it. I enjoy meeting people like you and telling the story. It's all fun for me.
Yeah, I definitely would. It'd be great to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you too. You
all right, buddy.
Care.
Take care, Carl. We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Just a little more time.
We'll be back. We have Felipe, our guide. Say hi to the camera.